Hey everybody, welcome back to another Krita class video. Today we're going to talk about how to bring a traditional sketch or drawing into Krita and kind of set it up to make it easier to work with if you're doing like final line work or color ideas, things like that. So here I'm just using my scanner, just a Epson Eco Tank, and these are just the settings I've been using. Nothing too crazy. I did use a JPEG, I didn't need a PNG because I didn't need any transparency or anything like that, and it was at 400 dpi anyway, so it should be fine. So I'm just kind of modifying my file setting names here because it's a new system, so I never bothered to do that. Alright, so once I got my folder structure set up, I went and did a preview scan, and I like to do a preview first just to verify my settings are correct and everything looks good. These do take a little while, especially because I had a 400 dpi resolution, but again, I want the maximum quality to make sure that when I scan, I'm not having any loss in the information. Now, because they're just sketches, I really don't need to be concerned, but it's just easier for me to work with a higher resolution scan. So once I got that preview done and I liked it and I hit the actual scan, this is going to save the file now. It did take a little while, again, larger scan file size, so I was able to go check that out. You can see it's in my folder. So I went and looked at it to make sure that everything looked good before I went and brought it into Krita. You can see that this looks really good. It's a nice clear scan. Obviously the edges are a little smudged, partly because the ink that I used, or the ink pen that I used, smudged, and probably just because of the nature of the scan. Alright, so now that we have scanned our traditional work and we need to place it into Krita, there's two ways you can do this. You can just open the file directly into Krita, or we can make a new file and import it as a layer. I'm going to import it as a layer, that way all my layers and things are set up for my new file defaults. I don't have to go add them and everything. So I'm going to go to Layer, Import, Import Layer. And I'm going to click on the first scan I did. Now I have two scans here. I'm just going to stick with the first one that I showed when I was actually scanning. So you can see that my scan is actually bigger than my entire file. So there's a couple things I can do here. I can either go to my crop, click on the canvas, go to tool options and make sure grow is checked on, and I can just expand it. I'm gonna hit the enter key. Or I can just use my transform tool to scale it down. This is all a personal preference. Normally I would just leave it as is and just scale it down, but I kind of like the size of this here, so I'm actually going to go ahead and just use the grow function with the transform tool. Alright, so now that we've brought in our file, we can go and So that we brought in our file, you kind of want to like look over to see how the scan really looks up close. So you can see here, move this layer up so I can paint over it. I have some dark areas. They're a little subtle. You can see here that they're either got blurred out during the scan, or maybe it got smudged when I was drawing because this is all pen, and I am notorious for liking to draw with pen traditionally. Especially with sketching. The eraser leaves eraser markings and bits and just makes a mess, and I don't like it. Alright, so before we do anything else, we're going to go to Filter, Adjust, and Desaturate. Default settings are fine. We're going to hit OK. And I'm just making sure that there's no like color that was added in to the scan, because sometimes it will say, oh, this is maybe like a different color, like maybe a blue, depending on how like the shadows or the lighter strokes here may look upon the scan. You can kind of see here in the adjustment, there's a very slight variation in the color. Very, very subtle. I can see it. I don't know if you can see it in the recording, but it is there. Try to look at it on the screen. All right. It might be a little bit more visible here in the shadow areas. it has a little bit more of a reddish pink tone, and then if I go and redo the desaturate, it looks more gray now. So this one has a bit of a pink hue to it, and then this is more, or that is gray. I'm gonna turn off my circle layers here. All right, so I am happy with that. Another thing we want to do is maybe adjust the levels. There are two ways you can do this. You can actually right click on the layer, go to add and add filter mask, and we can go down to levels, and we can adjust it here. I'm just gonna pick a couple settings real quick and just leave it. And hit OK. And what this does, it creates a non-destructive way to modify the levels. So if I right click it again and go to properties, I can now modify the levels I just did. So maybe it wasn't dark enough, maybe it was too light, not light enough. You can see here I'm adding too much gray back into that paper. I don't want that. So we want to darken things without adding more shadow back in. Alright, so that looks good to me. It looks like a flat white piece of paper. Still a little bit of shadow on the edges here, but that's okay. So because I'm making this like my sketch layer as if I were to have drawn it and created it from the beginning, I don't really care about this filter mask. I can just, let's see, I can just merge this together or flatten it. And then it's good. Or you can just adjust it here from filter levels and do the same thing. It's just when you hit OK, it's final. You can't go back and adjust it. There's no right or wrong way to do this. It's whatever your personal preference is. If you're someone who likes to tweak with the settings, try them out just to see what the best result can be. I would recommend doing the layer mask, or I'm sorry, the filter mask here. If you don't care about that, you're just like whatever happens, happens. Then doing the destructive method of the actual filter itself is absolutely fine as well. I do both depending on my mood and depending on what I'm doing for the final product. All right, so everything looks good. I'm happy with the darkness of the lines, that the paper looks solid white now. Now we can go to filter, adjust, and filter colors and color to alpha. By default, it has white as the color sampler. So if we turn the preview off, this is what it looks like. If we turn it on, then it's gone. And I don't really see any areas that might still remain. This looks pretty good to me. Obviously, I have the titles here, which are kind of faded. That's totally fine. No big deal. I can just erase that. But if you go and play with the color here, like let's say you're using colored paper, but you want to remove maybe some smudges, you can start adjusting all of that here. And you could also create a filter mask from this, like we did with the levels, or you can just leave it as is and use a filter right off the bat. So I'm gonna hit OK. I'm gonna zoom in just to take a look. Everything looks pretty good to me. I don't see any areas that like give me any alarms or make me concerned. Yeah, it looks good. So I'm just gonna quick clean this up with just my eraser. Just erase some areas I don't care about. I don't really care about the text anymore. I can erase this little line here I put in the paper to divide it. And if I wanted to, I could start erasing things I don't really care about. Like this here. I started drawing an eyeball and I didn't like it. I didn't like this one. Just give myself a little bit more focus on what I would like to keep here. I can go ahead and start using my selection tools to move things around. Reorganize it. Move this entire thing up a little bit more. Okay, that looks good. Now that we have this, if you would like to change the color of the line work, if you're working in black like I was, you absolutely can. I'm just going to go to a nice blue, and I have locked my transparency here in the layers, and I'm just going to color over this outline. Now, I like to work in blue. If you like to work in different colors, you can do that. Sometimes I like to work in purple. As a note, my color selector is set on CMYK. So some of these colors may look a little bit muted, especially the greens. So this is just fun to do, different colors. So that looks neat. If you want to go and try out different colors for concepting, for example, like this flower. Like maybe you do want the skull to be white. It's nice, but you're not sure of the petals yet. You can try let's do a reddish color. It's more magenta, but whatever. So we can just put that there, see how that looks. If we don't like it, we can add another layer. Maybe we want to try the orange petals. You can just concept really quickly with this without having to clean up your line work. You've already done it. You're just sketching color now. You're just making more concepts with your traditional sketch that maybe are a little bit more difficult to do with colors because you may have to redraw it or trace it, and it's more time consuming. So this may be a good path to just try out different colors. Maybe we do like a yellow. This is more like yellowish orange. Try. This is all in the same layer, by the way. But you get the idea. So let's say you want to keep that paper texture look and you want to post this on social media, but you want to add a little bit more pizzazz to it. What you can do is recreate the texture within Krita and just make it more like presentable. That way you're not scanning it in, there's smudges and things like that. It's just cleaner. So I'm going to actually just scribble in some white. And I'm just going to do it all over the areas that I like. So I'm just going to do a little bit here. I'm just going to do a little bit here. And then we can just pretend that it's all pretty and set up and layered. And laid out correctly in a pleasing manner. We're going to filter, run to other, we're going to random noise. So this brings in a lot of noise, right? It's pretty, you can adjust the opacity on it. I'm going to kind of leave it at 100 and I'm going to let the level be around 42. I'm going to hit OK. And now I'm going to go to filter, I'm going to adjust, we're going to desaturate it. I don't want any color. I'm going to hit OK. I'm going to go to filter, blur, Gaussian blur, if that's how you say it, don't remember. We're not going to do too much blur, but you can see there's a little bit of texture right here, right? I'm going to hit OK. Now we're going to add a new layer. Let's say you like that cream colored paper. I know a lot of artists do like it. We're going to color, I'm just going to zoom in here so we can see this a little better too. Our lovely, lovely sketch here. I'm just going to color that area. Technically you could use the fill bucket too, but for the purposes of this video, I just want to scribble something so I can show you. We're going to go to our layer modes up here, right here where it says normal. We're going to go to grain merge. All right, you hit grain merge. Sometimes I hit lighten by accident. You want grain merge. All right, so we're going to go back to our cream color. It's a little too bright. We're going to, let's see. It's going to work it here. Merging the color with the texture underneath below. So if we were to adjust that layer, so let's see, we'll adjust the levels on it. We could lighten this, or we could darken it. And the darker we make it, the more that color here is going to be maintained. So yeah, that's what we can do technically to put this together and maybe post it online, and you can say, oh, I like this color a lot, but I want that texture back in, you know, stuff like that. And then you can go ahead and add a cream paper texture, or whatever other color. Do a blue, whatever suits your mood. Now there are many different ways to add a paper texture. You can actually use a literal paper texture that you can download for free. Some people have put those background textures online for free, or you can buy one and just use that as the background. And because our sketch layer is transparent, you don't have to worry about like trying to merge anything together. It's just a layer underneath. So if I were to take this off, I could actually do that. Go back to layer, import. All right, so I've imported this. I believe, I don't remember, I think this is from Affinity. I bought it from them. This is a pretty rough paper texture. It looks more like craft paper, which is totally fine. So we can just kind of like lighten that if we want. We can use filters to adjust the colors. We can just go back to levels again. It's good. And we can do that. and now you've changed the look of your sketch completely without much effort. And you can go ahead, if you have multiple colors of this, you can add in all of them just to see how it looks. Let's see, we got this green one, which is nice. This is pretty cool. It's got another neat paper texture to it. So you can see how you can change the look of your sketch by making it transparent and modifying it and getting it ready for online posting, just so it's visually more appealing than just plain white paper. Alright, so that's it for this video. Go ahead and get a traditional sketch scanned in, throw it into Krita, make sure the paper is transparent, modify that. That way you can go ahead and play with different color variations, or maybe move it around and create a different layout for all the sketches on that page. And for extra credit, I would go ahead and either make your own paper texture in Krita. You can do it with the noise method that I used, or bring in a other file to modify like I did here for a different paper texture and create a whole new look for your sketch. And that is it for this video. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments down below. I'll do my best to answer them. Make sure to like this video if it helped you out, and subscribe so you don't miss out on the next one. Thank you, and I will see you then.